Thought I'd bring you along on a little behind the scenes of what happens before the honey makes it to the jar. I'm doing things a little differently this year because last year I was really overwhelmed with extraction. I had 3 different extractions and it was a lot of work. Basically, what you're going to see now is what I had to do 3 times. And I'd much rather just do it once. So I'm actually doing a little bit of piecemeal. I'm only extracting from 1 hive here at my Pittsboro apiary, and I already moved all the honey frames to the top box, which is called a super, and that was a few days ago. So my goal today is I'm gonna go set it up and pull that super, and since I only want to do 1 extraction, I'm going to put that super in the freezer until extraction day. So the first thing I need to do is set this guy, watch out, it might get blinded, set this up in the sun because this is the fume board and that's what I'll be using to get the bees out of that top box. Here's a shot of the apiary and you can see the fume board on the cinder blocks. This is the Bee Quick spray that I use on the fume board. This bottle is 5 years old. The fume board was charging in the sun for about 20 minutes, so now I just gave it 2 sprays and I'll let it sit on top of the hive for about 5 minutes before I take it off. To explain a little of what I'm doing here, I have a box of drawn comb that I'm going to be replacing this super of honey with. So generally if I'm extracting in the same day, at sunset I'll return that wet super back to the colony, but since I'm planning on doing the extraction later on, I still want them to have the space that they need because they are a really huge colony. So I actually have a frame of honey in this super that I'm giving them, so they actually have a little snack to get them started. And I don't feel as bad that I'm taking the whole box, but this colony has plenty of honey to spare, and it is the only colony that I'm harvesting from this apiary, so I always make sure I leave generous supplies back on the hive or any hive that I take honey from, but also that I'm not taking from all of them because at some point we might need to share resources between all these different colonies. Honey is in the freezer, so I need to still pull the honey at my other apiary in Western North Carolina, which will either be later this month or in early August. I'll decide as that gets closer if I am going to bring this 1 box out to the mountains and extract everything there, or if I'm going to bring everything from the mountains here and do the extraction here. So in any case, I will only have 1 day of extracting instead of 3 this year, so that's a win. But I will need to do all of this again out there, and it's a little bit different because those hives are in the shade, so I can't have the fume board in the sun for 5 minutes on the hive. Instead, I have to charge it longer in the sun and then get it on the hive and wait a little bit longer than 5 minutes. It's not that bad and it's really effective, and if there are still a bunch of bees, I've used a very low setting on an electric leaf blower to gently blow them out afterwards, and that works really great.